I'm Dr. Mark Hatala, and I want to welcome you to my office. I'm a cognitive scientist who studies time travel by replicating days from the past. So everything that someone who is alive on a particular day would be exposed to, from early morning newspapers through late night television and everything in between. Today we're talking about February 9th, 1964. That's my George Harrison imitation for you, which is the night that the Beatles appeared for the first time on the Ed Sullivan Show. And our topic for today is Mad Magazine, which is cheap, miserable trash written by the usual gang of idiots, which is how they self-described themselves. So Mad Magazine has some interesting aspects to it from the early 1960s. Now, it was started in the 1950s, it peaked in the 1970s, and it was gone in the 2000s. So it followed the career trajectory of Johnny Carson in that sense. Not to tell a Johnny Carson joke, but so for example, this is the January issue, which has the Christmas seals on it, and this is the March issue, which has President's Day because he's hitting President Lincoln. But it only in the 1960s, Mad only came out 8 times a year, and so they had double issues in both January, February, and March, April. Now, the other curious thing about Mad Magazine during this time is they put it out 2 months early. So, for example, the January issue would be current it would come out in November. And so I'm not exactly sure why they did that. Maybe so they could keep it on the newsstands longer. But it does lead to one of the issues in the January issue. So they have a whole section on celebrity nightmares. And one of them features John F. Kennedy and his dream about Christine Keeler, who, so he was actually, to put this in context, he had been assassinated on November 22nd, 1963, and then supposedly this came out in January 1964. So that's a bit of a mistake on their part on Mad Magazine. But anyway, who was Keeler? Well, she was a British model, we'll say that, who was having simultaneous affairs with a British cabinet minister and a Soviet naval attaché. And so that was the perfomo scandal. I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but I'm an American. And so that's a pretty deep cut for JFK to be worried about that. There's also nightmares of people like Hugh Hefner, that he's married. And so, yeah. A second article is about college. Now, this is interesting because it's 14 years before Animal House came out. But this is the time period which is being depicted in Animal House at Faber College. And so a lot of the jokes are about things like sleeping in class, not studying, drinking, chasing women, and engaging in what were called panty raids. And this was a male collegiate activity in the late 50s and early 60s. It was incredibly popular, where men would storm a women's dorm and then steal panties and run away with them. This is a college craze. The equivalent in the 1930s was swallowing goldfish. The last thing that I want to point out are the advertisements, because I think they're absolutely hilarious. Things like, why buy life insurance when I can play the ponies? So none of it's real. It was all written by the writers at Mad Magazine, because Mad Magazine did not have paid advertising from 1957 until 2001, because they didn't want to have to worry about upsetting or offending the people who advertised in their magazine. And so they made up joke ones, and they're pretty hilarious. And so I would encourage you to check those out too. Now, I'll put links to all of these below, but come visit us at timetravelsimplified.com and become a time traveler. And while you're at it, buy my book, Beatles in America, February 9th, 1964. It's guaranteed. It's time travel or it's free. That's our motto. I also put a link below to my Patreon account if you'd like to support my research, and I'd ask you to like and subscribe and share this video. And otherwise, have a great day.